2017 is coming to a close, and that means it's time for a whole bunch of end-of-year lists, and today we are talking about my picks for the 10 most disappointing movies of the year. Now, when I say disappointing, I don't mean the 10 worst movies of the year. I mean the 10 movies with the largest negative gap from what I expected and what I got. So some of these are movies I actually gave positive reviews to, or movies I actually even enjoyed, but I thought I was going to love them. I thought they were going to be best of the year material, and they fell well below that. Other ones, I just thought they were going to be good to mediocre, and they turned out awful. But the key idea is they fell way, way, way below my expectations. And also with this list, it's totally subjective, my personal opinion, my personal experience with movies based off my anticipation and my expectations and my feelings afterwards. So there's no reason to take any of my answers personally, especially when I talk about a certain MCU movie. It's not personal. I wanted to love it as much as you guys. I just didn't. With that in mind, tell me your picks for the biggest disappointments of the year down in the comment section. Which ones do you expect to love that fell well below your expectations? Also, stick around to the end of this video. I'm going to share a bunch of other people's thoughts on what the biggest disappointment of the year was using the Stardust app. I'm trying to share some of you guys' thoughts using the Stardust app. It's totally free. I'll tell you how you can use it at the end of this video. With that in mind, here are my dishonorable mentions. Atomic Blonde. I actually got a shirt and some sunglasses at the screening I went to for it, but the movie overall, I liked it, but I wanted to love it. I wanted it to be another John Wick, and it wasn't. Kong Skull Island. This movie was actually on my list for most anticipated movies of the year, and I liked it, but I kind of forgot about it. I actually forgot that it was on my most anticipated list because the movie itself was so kind of like, that was pretty good. And so overall, pretty disappointing considering what I was hoping it was going to be. Baywatch. The Rock, Zac Efron, should have been a ton of fun. The end result was a very weird mixed bag movie that was not nearly as good as it should have been. The Dark Tower. This is one I'd actually been talking about with one of my coworkers for several months. It had been in development for years and years and was going to be a TV show, and then it was going to be a movie, and then it actually happened, and it was just so bland and forgettable, so it certainly was a huge disappointment. With that said, let's get started. Coming in at number 10 is Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Now, I enjoyed this movie after the second viewing, but I still had a lot of problems with the plot. There seems to be a bunch of holes in the story. The Finn plotline didn't come together for me, and there's a whole bunch of things about this movie where it seemed like they were trying so hard to subvert expectations that they failed to deliver on some easy red meat to throw at the fans. They didn't want to give too much fan service, so they ended up not pleasing us at all because they didn't give us something that was better in return than our expectations. So the end result was a movie that I can respect a lot of what they were going for. There's a bunch of things about it that are great. The end result, though, left me wanting more. Coming in at number 9 is Valerian. I don't even remember the full title for this one. It's a Luc Besson film, so I was very excited about it. And it's a Luc Besson space epic. That sounded like that would be incredible. And then I saw the movie, and the plot for it was just so small scale. The way the story unfolded felt episodic, and some of the action and conflict within it seemed so circumstantial and unnecessary. And so overall, a huge disappointment. There's some amazing visuals in it, so much imagination put into the world that's crafted, that the plot just seems like an afterthought to putting cool visuals up on the screen. At number 8 is Killing Gunther. Now, this was supposed to be an Arnold Schwarzenegger comedy mockumentary type film. The end result is not a comedy because it's not funny. It's trying to be a comedy, but it's not. And it's certainly not an Arnold Schwarzenegger film because he's not in the first 2/3 of it. So you're just sitting there not laughing with this movie that's so awkward and uncomfortable and doesn't have a compelling story, waiting for Arnold to show up. And it gets mildly better when he shows up. But overall, this movie was just such a huge disappointment and painful viewing experience. At number 7 is The Mummy. Now, this movie had some entertainment value for me. I was like mixed negative on this one, but the reason it gets on this list is because they hyped this one for years. Like, they're gonna do this movie and this whole shared universe, the dark universe. Right before it came out, they even put a cast photo for all the different movies they're working on. And then the movie came out, and it's mediocre to awful, because it's such a weird blend of genres. You can just feel the studio notes and different people kind of pulling the movie in different directions. And it's so oversaturated with humor that doesn't fit. And they try and turn The Mummy, a horror story, into a big kind of MCU style blockbuster. And the end result is a mess of a movie. Number 6 is The Kingsmen, The Golden Circle. The first movie was just such a pleasant surprise. It was so vibrant and energetic and funny, and you loved the characters and the world that was built, and you fell in love with all of it and wanted more. And then we get this movie, and it is more of everything, and a bunch of the characters we love come back, even ones that don't even make sense for them to come back. But the end result just seems like such a miscalculation throughout. The elements don't work, and they bring characters back that should have stayed dead, and they kill off characters that should have stayed alive. And just overall, the end result left me feeling like, oh, I don't think I want more of this, which is so weird coming off the first movie that I was just like, I can't wait to get more of this. It doesn't need to be great. I just need something good. And then they gave it to me, and I went, ooh, I don't like the taste of this anymore. Coming in at number 5 is Batman and Harley Quinn. For my money, Batman, the animated series, is probably the greatest animated series of all time. And for this movie, they had Bruce Timm, the creator of Batman, the animated series, to come back and work on it. And he has the animation style of that series that we haven't seen in over 10 years. And it has almost all the voice cast coming back. And it's awful. It's just shockingly bad. It's supposed to be a comedy and just kind of this weird, quirky take on all of it. But it's a horrible misfire. The humor is just base level, like fart jokes. So like Harley Quinn's in the back of the Batmobile farting, and Batman goes, I love the smell of discipline. Like stuff like that you never wanted to see in a Batman cartoon ever. The plot is just atrocious and not interesting. There's just all sorts of lapse in logic where just things just happen to make it so they can progress this plot forward. I mean, I was just sitting here in the theater looking at my sister being like, I can't believe we're seeing this. Should we walk out? I mean, it's a train wreck. I have to watch this train wreck to the end. And so I hated it. I mean, it's just amazingly bad. At number 4 is Alien Covenant. Now, coming off Prometheus, I was very nervous about a follow-up film in this series, but they called it Alien Covenant. They said that it was going to be more alien-centric and kind of moving away a little bit from the Prometheus vibe. So I was getting really excited about this movie. There's some great trailers for it. And even when the movie started, the first 45 minutes of it, I was just so on board. I was loving the direction it was going. I was thinking, this is easily the best Alien movie since Aliens, and Aliens is one of my favorite movies of all time. And then as the movie progresses, it clearly just turns, it goes from Alien prequel movie to Prometheus sequel at one point in time. It just, something happens 45 minutes into it, turns into Prometheus 2. It just kills the movie for me. Even coming out of it, I was trying to hype myself up like, no, I really liked the beginning and the end of it. So yeah, I really liked it. And the more I've thought about it, it was just the Prometheus 2 aspect of it just absolutely killed the movie for me. And I gave it a positive review when I first reviewed it, and I would definitely go negative by now. Coming in at number 3 is The Circle. Now, this is a movie that I was actually really intrigued by from the trailer because it has Emma Watson and Tom Hanks, and it deals with social media and how it interacts with culture, and it's based off a book. All that got me excited. And then I saw the supporting cast, and you had Bill Paxton in there and John Boyega, and there's a bunch of things about it that just made me go, this could be really good. And then I saw it. And it was atrocious. It was a movie I had to rant about it as soon as I got out of the theater and actually shot a live rant straight to YouTube after seeing it. I couldn't believe what I just saw. It's so misguided and misunderstands story and how to work characters into a story. It can't pick a side where Emma Watson falls in all of it. It's not really saying anything. And so it's just a dreadful, dreadful movie starring some great talent that it easily could have been a very good movie to excellent movie. Instead, we got a steaming pile of crap. But our runner-up is going to be Justice League. Now, this is a movie I was so excited to finally see on the big screen because I love Batman and I love Superman, and I'm not a DCEU hater. I give a positive review to both the theatrical and extended cuts of Batman v Superman, fully understanding the flaws of the movie. But these are characters I love, and I loved Man of Steel, so the idea of seeing the actual full Justice League come together sounded amazing to me. Some of the initial trailers looked really, really good to me. And then some buzz started happening, and I started questioning some things, and then there was a big switch up. Joss Whedon came in. I was like, this is insane. We're going from Zack Snyder to Joss Whedon, and I'm a huge Joss Whedon fan. So it's like, I don't know how that's going to work, but I love Joss Whedon, so this could be amazing too. And then the first initial reviews came out, and it was at like 40%. And I was like, that makes me a little bit nervous, but I went into the theater as the target audience of this movie, expecting to give it like an 8 or 10, an 8.5 out of 10. I was expecting to be up there, and I went negative on it. And it broke my heart to do that. I so wanted to love this movie, wanted to at least like it, or just be like, it's a guilty pleasure that I get so much fun out of it because it's like a Taco Bell movie, as I kind of use that phrasing. And then I saw it, and there were just too many, the whole movie, I just saw the reshoots. I just saw the plot holes and the restructuring of things. And I saw a movie that you had too many studio heads kind of pulling in the directions. And I didn't see a movie that was the work of a creator trying to make a great story. I saw a product from a studio that had just been fiddled with by too many people, and it just left me so disappointed. But the movie that left me most disappointed and heartbroken when the credits started rolling has got to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, if you go back and check out my video for my most anticipated movies of the year, my number one most anticipated movie for this year was going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I loved the trailers for it. At the time, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 was my favorite MCU film, so I went into this one absolutely wanting to love it. And then it just didn't work for me in a lot of ways. And I actually did go positive on my review, but I was so disappointed by what I got. And so it's actually kind of turned into the thing on my channel that I received the most crap about is not loving it enough. And so in my MCU ranking movie videos where it's kind of low on there, people go nuts on me and curse me out and say all sorts of horrible things to me. I wanted to love it, but the Gold People plotline, I think is pretty awful for a movie. Then I've mentioned many times just the mean-spirited nature of the humor with Drax making fun of a girl's appearance for 2 hours, Baby Groot being tortured by adults, guys having to watch their friends being tortured to death, and just the overall treatment, kind of this orphan plot line where an orphan finds his father only to discover that he's a sociopath and everything special about himself he discovers is because there's an evil force out there. He just kind of realizes that he has another father figure only to lose that person. Just all of it is just a nasty, mean streak to it that put a really bad taste in my mouth. And in general, I didn't like the ego plot line apart from the fact that it was kind of just so mean and nasty to me. Apart from that, it just felt like, hey, there's a guy out there that's evil and does evil things to make much of himself. That's not really compelling for me. Certainly in the scheme of evil, he's super evil, but it's not a compelling evil. It was just something that I was just so disappointed by. So for me, because I wanted it to be up here, because I loved the first one, because I loved the trailers for it, because it was my most anticipated movie of the year, and the end result was just a bad, nasty taste in my mouth and a whole bunch of people cussing me out in the comment section, that makes me be very disappointed with the movie. So those are the 10 biggest disappointments for me. One more thing to add into this. On my most anticipated list of the year, I actually included in my runner-ups Pitch Perfect 3, which I haven't seen yet. And I thought, oh, should I wait until I see Pitch Perfect 3 before I do this video? But the problem is, because the trailers for it have been so bad and the buzz has been so, my expectations have dropped so low that the movie can't disappoint me. I assume it's going to be bad. I actually could have gone to go see a press screening of it right now. I had a buddy that was inviting me, and I passed on going. If this was a movie I was anticipating and thought, oh man, this will be really good, I wouldn't be shooting this video. I would be downtown Austin watching Pitch Perfect 3 right now, but it didn't look particularly good to me, so here I am talking to you wonderful people. And with that said, I told you guys I was going to share some other people's picks for most disappointing movie of the year, and we did this using the Stardust app. I'll tell you how you can get your face to appear in some of my future videos right after this. Here's what you guys picked.
So Dunkirk came out on Blu-ray today. I think this is the most overrated movie of 2017. This movie really didn't hit me emotionally.
The movie that single-handedly started and killed off the Dark Universe, instead of taking from its horror roots from the 1930 Boris Karloff-led Mummy films, decided to go the Tom Cruise action route. It started focusing on bad jokes and some crazy action sequences instead of telling a compelling story.
Long Chucky fan here. I've watched this movie 3 times, and I'm here to tell you definitively that this is not a good movie. It is a huge step down from Curse of Chucky, which is a decent sized step down from Bride of Chucky.
Spider-Man Homecoming, and honestly, I think this is super overrated, and this one just didn't live up to it to me. I think Tom Holland's okay at the role. I don't think he's fantastic.
But I wanted to talk about Kingsmen, The Golden Circle. Ultimately, I just didn't care for this one as much as the first one. In fact, I found myself bored at points. It's too long, almost 2.5 hours, and there are a lot of characters and actors that are totally wasted in this movie, so kind of a disappointment.
Alien Covenant is not good. I've not been this disappointed in a film for a very long time.
So there you have it, the most disappointing movies of the year So there you have it, some of the most disappointing movies of the year based off me and based off you. And it's interesting the way that some of the movies that I loved, you guys were disappointed with, and some of the ones you guys absolutely loved and were big surprises for you, I was disappointed with. So if you want your opinion to appear in one of my future videos, all you have to do is download the Stardust app for your smartphone at the link down below. It's available in both the Apple and the Android stores. It's totally free, no ads, not premium, just free. And essentially what it is it's an app designed to make it super easy to record 30-second reviews for movies and TV shows. You just select the movie or TV show, click record your pretty face, and you click post. It's that simple. So if you want to appear, download the app at the link down below, follow my account whenever you first sign up. Just go ahead and follow me, and then I'll follow you right back so I can see your stuff, and then tag me whenever you post a review so I can actually check your stuff out, and maybe you will appear in one of my future reviews or ranking videos. And if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, end of year lists, just like the one that you're watching right now. But the key thing is I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies and TV with you. So join me in the comment section. Tell me your picks for the most disappointing movies of the year. And as always, thank you so much for watching.